500,000. Give me 6. There it is. 1,000,006.
No matter whether you are an artist or not, seeing artworks like this always makes us question something. Why doesn't art feel like art anymore? Like, why the hell are people making all these weird things and calling them art? And for people who are going to say there is thought behind the art, I would like to say thought existed in paintings before too. So what is pushing artists today to make artworks like this instead of artworks like this? Art has always changed with time. From the 14th century until now, there have been more than 20 different art movements. If we simplify it, we can say that before Romanticism, art was mostly about religion, kings, politics, and historical events. But after Romanticism, artists started turning more toward expressing their own emotions. Then things changed again after Dada, when technical skill started becoming less important, and the idea of the artist became more important. But it's easy to sit and say modern artists are just lazy and don't want to learn skills. In reality, things are more complicated. Because just like you, I also used to think that Picasso didn't actually know how to paint. But take a look at this painting. He painted like this when he was only 14 years old. Later in his life, the loss of loved ones deeply affected him, and that suffering also appeared in his paintings. You can actually feel those emotions in his artworks. In one of my previous videos, I also talked about Guernica in depth. But still, Picasso's works are somewhat understandable. They are still paintings. Things became much more confusing when I saw a banana taped to a wall and it was called contemporary art. The first weird and funny thought that came into my mind was, can I just exhibit myself and say the idea is in my head? I know it sounds silly. But to clear this confusion, I started learning about a person who is often called the father of conceptual art. His artwork Fountain, which was simply a urinal signed by him, is considered the starting point of conceptual art. So I thought maybe I would find my answer here. Artworks like this were asking an important question: what is art? And that question is actually important. It would be easy to say Duchamp had no skill, but if you look at this landscape he painted at the age of 15, it's clear that he had strong technical ability. His siblings were also involved in the Cubist movement, and Duchamp himself experimented with Cubism as well. But things started changing with one of his paintings. In that painting, he still used Cubist ideas like a limited color palette and fragmented forms, but the figure was shown in constant motion, something that the Italian futurists were exploring at that time. Because of this, the Cubist group rejected the painting, saying it was too futurist, and they also felt the title of the work was too literal. Duchamp later talked about how not belonging to a group and not following its rules can sometimes lead to more original art.
I enjoyed being a part of a group. I've always wanted to make something of personal contribution to it, which is can only be done if you think by yourself and not follow the general rules of the group, you see.
Believe it or not, this was the first moment when I actually started connecting with a conceptual artist. There was also a period in Duchamp's life when he left art and worked as a librarian. During that time, he read many books about science and mathematics, especially books written by the French mathematician and physicist Henri Piot. These ideas influenced him and pushed him to explore new ways of combining art with scientific thinking. This eventually led to the Dada movement's ready-mades. His first ready-made was the Beisal wheel. But interestingly, he didn't even intend to show it to anyone at first. He didn't even think of it as a work of art. The term ready-made was something he used later to describe artworks created from ordinary manufactured objects. Another interesting thing is that Duchamp never really made money from these ready-mades. So the idea that artworks like these are made only to make money became less convincing to me. The more I learned about Duchamp, the more my perspective started opening. But something even more interesting happened when I saw one of his interviews. It answered many of my questions.
I believe that art is the only form of activity in which man, as man, shows himself to be a true individual.
What Duchamp was saying in that interview was something he had already done himself. He created artworks that the art world was not expecting. And even today, it's not like artists who paint no longer exist. They do exist. It's just that big galleries often choose to promote other types of art more. So maybe the answer is not simply that contemporary art is stupid. Maybe the real idea is that artists should create art that satisfies them personally. Because the type of art I was criticizing, like the banana taped to the wall, is actually supporting that same idea. It's saying, make art for yourself. Express your own thoughts. Don't create art just for a big price tag or just for galleries. Make the kind of art you admire. Maybe the real problem is that we don't always try to understand the ideas behind contemporary art. And no one is forcing artists to make installations or conceptual art. Even Marcel Duchamp didn't make what the art world expected from him. And even the banana artwork is basically saying the same thing. Create freely. Personally, I almost never get ideas for installations like these. Most of my ideas are closer to surrealism mixed with other styles. So maybe the real answer is simple. Create art to express your thoughts, emotions, and feelings. Art has never been static, and maybe it's actually the right time for artists to start new movements again. Thank you if you're still watching until this point. This video was honestly just me brain dumping everything I know about this topic. But if you think I said something wrong, or if you have your own thoughts on this subject, please share them in the comments. I really do read them.